Good evening, everyone. It's 6 o'clock, and we'll call the meeting of the Denison City Council to order for this Monday, June the 2nd, 2025. We are very fortunate to have Reverend Michael Braxton with us tonight, who will give our invocation, and then Chris Wallentine, our city clerk, will give our Pledge of Allegiance right after that. So if you'll please rise and pray with Reverend Braxton with us, please.
May we bow our head. Our Father in heaven, we just thank and praise you for being God all by yourself. Thank you for your grace and mercy. Thank you for your darling son, Jesus. Thank you for this meeting. Thank you for the ones that brought this meeting together. Be with us in a mighty way, Lord. Give us to know that you're still God, and beside you there is none other. We just thank you and we praise you. For it's in Jesus' name that we pray and ask it all. And we say together, amen.
Amen. Ms. Wallentine, please, for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
I have the extreme honor tonight to do a proclamation for the Juneteenth celebration that will be coming right up. And so, Mr. Thomas, if you'll join me, and anyone in the audience would join me, and Reverend Braxton, if you'll join me here at the podium, please, sir. Pastor, could you come around this side, please? Tearing this up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor this evening to have this proclamation. It reads, whereas Juneteenth, celebrated on June 19th, marks the day in 1865 when enslaved African Americans in Galveston, Texas were informed of their freedom more than 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, signifying the true end of slavery in the United States. And whereas Juneteenth stands as a powerful symbol of freedom, resilience, and enduring pursuit of justice, and is an important opportunity for reflection on our nation's complex history and the continued work toward equality for all. And whereas the Munson Park Juneteenth celebration has become a beloved annual tradition in our community, bringing together residents of all ages and backgrounds for festivals, parades, musical performances, food, cultural showcases, and educational programming. And whereas these events have served not only as a joyful commemorations, but as a platform for storytelling, learning, community healing, and honoring the contributions of African Americans to our shared cultural heritage. And whereas, thanks to the dedication of community leaders, volunteers, organizations, and families, Munson Park has become a gathering place where history is remembered, freedom is honored, and future generations are inspired through unity and celebration. Now, therefore, I, Robert Crawley, Mayor of the City of Denison, do hereby proclaim June the 19th, 2025, as Juneteenth Day of celebration and reflection. So glad to have this for you. She normally tells us if you can't see her See if I can fix what I broke. Okay. What a great crowd tonight, and thanks everyone. Thank you all for coming. What a good evening. Thank you. At this time, we come to item 3 on our agenda. It's public comment. Citizens may speak on action items listed on the agenda. A request to speak card should be completed and returned to the city clerk upon arrival and prior to the council reaching this public comment section of the agenda. Citizen comments are limited to 3 minutes unless otherwise required by law. Comments related to the public hearings listed below, if any, will be heard at the specific hearing as that specific hearing starts. Do you have any cards? Okay, there are no cards presented tonight. Next item is number 4 on our agenda. It's the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve or to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All right, motion by Councilman Redwine and a second by Councilman Thomas. Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. So now we move to item number 5, and we'll invite Ms. Diane York to come up and go through our public hearings with us. The first one deals with 3109 South Woodlawn Boulevard in Denison, Texas. Ms. York.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council. The first item I have for you tonight is a request for a conditional use permit for property commonly known as 3109 South Woodlawn Boulevard for the operation or for the allowance of an operation of a warehouse mini self-storage facility. The property is zoned commercial, and per the zoning ordinance, a conditional use permit is required in order to operate one of these facilities within that zoning district. The site is predominantly undeveloped except for an existing structure on the east side of the property fronting on South Woodlawn Boulevard. The applicant intends to renovate this structure to accommodate office space for the facility. The applicant states within their project narrative that the facility will be accessible to tenants 24 hours a day with a camera monitoring system and a secured gate. The hours of operation for the office will consist of 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday. As the site is undeveloped or predominantly undeveloped outside of that existing structure, the development of the facility must meet all city development standards and requirements. These requirements include, but are not limited to, all screening, landscaping, and parking requirements found within the Chapter 28, the zoning ordinance, as well as any building and fire codes and any applicable design or construction standards found within the Public Works Design Manual and construction standards. Those standards typically include utility extensions, any infrastructure, fire lane construction. If the proposed conditional use permit is approved, the applicant must submit a formal site plan application, final plat application, as well as civil engineering plans to be reviewed and approved by city staff. The future land use plan does designate this area to be developed in a mixed commercial manner with a revitalization area overlay over the area. The use of warehouse mini self-storage is compliant with the definition of mixed commercial per the comprehensive plan, and with this being somewhat of a greenfield project, new development, it will meet the definition of a revitalization area. Staff does recommend approval of the request, and the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of the request at their meeting held on May 27th. I'm present for any questions you may have, and the applicant is here as well.
All right, thank you. Any questions of Ms. York by council?
Is there just one entrance to the facility?
Yes, I do believe that they are going to, the majority of the traffic will be from Woodlawn. It's possible that they may have to have an emergency services access along that, I think it's Maurice.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Any other questions? If not, this is a public hearing, and we'll declare the public hearing open at this time. Is there anyone here to speak on behalf or either for or against this project? If there is anyone here, I need you to come to the microphone and state your name and address, please. Good evening, sir.
Hi, Todd Young, 2026 Peyton Way, Pottsboro. I'm the developer representative, and I'm just here on behalf of the project, and I can answer any questions you guys have or anyone from the public. So,
All right. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Young? All right. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else here to speak in favor of or against this project? If not, we'll close the public hearing. Back to the council for any other questions. If not, is there a motion?
Mayor, I move to adopt the ordinance providing for a conditional use permit to allow for the use of mini warehouse, mini self-storage at the subject property.
I have a motion by Councilman Thomas, a second by Councilman Thorne. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here tonight. Appreciate it. Ms. York, item B on the public hearings, please, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you. The second item I have for you tonight is a request to rezone approximately 7.7 acre tract of land, commonly known as 2430 West Coffin Street, from the single-family 7.5 residential district to the single-family 5 residential district. This case was presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission at their meeting held on May 27th. The public hearing was opened. However, the applicant was not able to attend that meeting, and so the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended or moved to table this item as well as the public hearing to their June 10th meeting, and therefore staff is asking that the City Council also table this item to the June 16th City Council meeting. I'm present for any questions that you may have.
Are there any questions from council? If not, is there a motion to table this item to 6 p.m. on June the 16th, 2025? Oops, sorry. Sorry, yes, we should.
Sorry.
At this time, we'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone to speak in favor of or against this project? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Now, is there a motion by council to table this project until 6 p.m. on Monday night, June the 16th?
Mayor, I would move to table this agenda item to the June 16th, 2025 City Council meeting.
I'm sorry, if I
Yes,
could,
ma'am.
I'm so sorry. If we could leave the public hearing open to
Okay.
the June 16th meeting, I'm not exactly sure how that would need to be in the motion, but that way we can
Okay.
continue the public hearing.
I'm reopening the public meeting. We will not close it.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
I'll try not to get in too much trouble. And so we'll leave the public hearing open, and we will reconvene it at 6 p.m. on June the 16th, 2025.
So you'll want a motion to leave the public hearing open and table the item to the date certain. So just at the beginning of your motion, just add leaving the public hearing open.
Mayor, I
Craig.
would make a motion that we leave the hearing open and table the item to the June 16th, 2025 City Council meeting at 6 p.m.
Second.
All right. There's a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Adams and a second by Councilman Thomas. Any other discussion? Any other corrections? All right, we'll ask all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimously. Item C, Ms. York, property dealing with 2700 Randall Lake Road, please, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. The last item I have for you tonight is a request to rezone approximately 10 acres for property located at 2700 Randall Lake Road from the agricultural zoning district to the single-family SF10 residential district to allow for residential use. The applicant is seeking this rezone from the ag district to the SF10 district in order to move forward with subdividing the property. As I mentioned, the property consists of approximately 10 acres, bless you, and there is an existing single-family structure that is located on the property. The applicant would like to subdivide the property in a manner that creates 2 legal lots of record that you can kind of see here on this conceptual final plat, with the existing structure being located on one of those lots, that lot being Lot 2. The current zoning does not provide allowance for the subdivision into 2 lots. The ag zoning district, when you are replatting or platting new lots, I should say, the requirement for the lot width is 300 feet. The applicant, for their frontage along Randall Lake Road, they have approximately 572.2 feet of frontage. So they would not be able to meet that 300 feet of width per the ag zoning district. In conversations with staff, we directed them that they would have to rezone it. And the closest single-family zoning district in this area is the SF10, which requires a larger lot in order to plat. And it was recommended that they pursue this rezoning. The undeveloped lot must meet any city development or construction standards if it is to be developed, and that includes potential improvements to Randall Lake Road. It was mentioned in the planning and zoning meeting. The information provided in the project narrative states that there is a single-family structure. You can kind of see it here on the aerial picture. In the meeting, the applicant stated that this was actually a barn, and per the surveyor and the other property owner, it's a single-family structure and a barn. The only reason I'm bringing this to your attention is because it was brought up in the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. While that doesn't hold any relevance in the zoning case, it could provide conflicts when it comes to platting if it's not a single-family structure. Our zoning code does not allow for accessory structures to exist on individual lots without a main structure. For the zoning, the future land use plan does designate this area to be developed in a neighborhood manner. Approval of this rezone request would be compliant with the future land use plan. It should be noted that if council moves forward with approving this case, a favorable vote of 3/4 of all the members of council is required due to staff receiving written objections from 20% or more of those notified within 200 feet of this property. City staff mailed out 8 letters and we received 4 back, and they were all in opposition. So per section 28.10.4.d of the zoning code, it requires a supermajority vote from city council. Staff does recommend approval of the request as it is compliant with the future land use plan, and the Planning and Zoning Commission also recommended approval at their meeting held on May 10th. I'm present for any questions you may have, and I don't believe the applicant is here.
Okay, could you go back just on a couple of points?
Yes, sir.
So if they do divide this, you mentioned something about the width would no longer meet the 500, is it 500 feet requirement?
So the case started when the applicant came in for the final plat that you see here. Upon reviewing that plat, because it's currently zoned agricultural, it requires a minimum width for any newly created lots of 300 feet. Okay. They have, for their property width, they only have 572.2 feet. So meeting that width of 300 feet is impossible. So in discussions with them, if they wish to move forward with subdividing the property, they would have to pursue a rezone, and this was the zoning district that staff recommended they pursue.
That width is along the right-of-way for the road?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I think of that as height.
That is Randall Lake Road on the left-hand side.
And it's a little hard to see the measurements on here, but I added them up a little earlier just to make sure.
So staff's recommendation was to first go through the rezoning process, is that what I understand?
That
you
is
said?
correct. In discussions with the applicant, we could deny the plat. However, where they've requested extensions to try and move forward with zoning so that the plat application is still active. But if this does not go through, then we would have to deny the plat, as it does not meet the zoning ordinance.
The 4 people that wrote back that they were against this, did they say why?
I don't have those letters in front of me,
Okay.
so I apologize.
That's okay.
Is there a minimum square foot size for a property on the SF10 lot?
For the home, off the top of my head, I don't know, but I could find out.
And the structure that's on lot 2 is, you considered maybe a barn dominium of some sort?
That's what it sounded like after discussing with the applicant and the surveyor this morning. I did ask them to be here to clarify that, just to make sure that what was discussed from the project narrative at application and then what was discussed in the public meeting at the Planning and Zoning Commission, as well as what was discussed here, was accurate.
Do you know how long the property owner has owned this property? Is it a recent purchase, or have they been there for a while?
I don't have that information in front of me. I do know that it's,
It's recent, okay.
I was gonna,
Is,
sorry.
How long has this lot been within the city limits?
I don't have that information, but it's been a while. I mean, this whole area has been within the city limits at least since I've been working here, so at least 11 years, but maybe more, probably more.
Just as a clarification, the building does have a 2-bedroom apartment in it. I'm familiar with it.
Is it homesteaded?
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know. I could look real quick and see if it is.
So the person requesting this, we don't know if they live in this structure or not.
I do not believe they currently live there, so that may answer your
probably
question,
not, yeah.
Councilman Thomas.
Well, I drove by there today to look at the building, and it's definitely a large metal building. And the west side has 2 large commercial doors. And then the north side also had 1 large commercial-looking door to me. So it didn't look like a home, but I guess maybe somebody has developed some living structures inside.
And that is possible. While commercial use would not be allowed within the residential district, it's, as long as they meet the minimum square footage and all the building codes, it's possible. Councilman Thomas, the minimum square footage for a dwelling unit is 1,250.
Okay, thank you.
So that's the intent, is to take this lot 1 and subdivide and build?
It may be a little misleading. So lot 1 and lot 2 do not exist. So it exists kind of as this parcel right here. Their hope is to move forward with the zoning and then move forward with the plat that you see here, creating those 2 legal lots of record.
And it was staff's recommendation to start with the zoning, correct?
Yes, unfortunately, they didn't have a choice. If they wished to subdivide it in any way, they would have to rezone the property outside of just platting it into one lot.
Any other questions of Ms. York? All right.
If it gets rezoned and your objection was dwelling unit without, or ancillary building without primary structure, what's their obligation at that point?
If they wish to plat it, they would most likely have to go through a variance process and establish how they were going to create that into a single-family structure, if that was their intent. It wasn't something that was really discussed with the applicant and staff because the project narrative said it was a single-family unit. It wasn't until the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting where the applicant got up and said it was a barn. So it's a little conflicting between the application, the commission meeting, and then the conversations I had this morning with the surveyor and I guess the other property owner, where it is a single family. and a barn, similar, kind of like it sounds like it's like a loft kind of thing. Okay.
It's got a water meter and electric supply now?
Yes, and the living quarters is upstairs inside the building. Okay, any other questions for Ms. York? All right, this is a public hearing, and we'll open the public hearing at this time. Is there anyone here to speak in favor or against the project? If you would, please come forward. We'll need your name and your address. Please, ma'am, thank you.
My name is Nellie Denman, and I live at 2803 Pecan Gap, right behind this area. My mom and dad have lived that property for 58 years. And they moved us out there. We moved this little bitty to raise us in the country. And we moved out there to be in the country. And this subdivision right here is, no, we voted against it. We don't want it there. I mean, it's tearing up the countryside. All the animals and stuff have started coming around, and I've got chickens and small dogs. I mean, it's moving the wildlife all around into our areas where it wasn't before. And I just don't think this is a good idea for where we're at and why we moved there.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you for your comments. Is there anyone else that would like to speak for or against this project? If not, we'll close the public hearing. Back to council and Ms. York. Any other questions for Ms. York or any other comments from the council?
I do feel that there's a lot of information we don't have, and I do wish the applicant was here to answer those questions.
As in, you want to table the discussion to have more information?
I'm good with that.
I could agree with that.
Any other questions or comments? Is there a motion from anyone?
Mayor, I move to table this discussion until we have more information, if possible.
All right, Ms. York.
Hi. If I may, can we table it to an exact date since the public hearing was open? Do you agree with that?
All right, was that a motion? Mr. Thomas?
Was that the 16th is the next meeting?
Yes, sir.
I move to table this discussion until our next meeting on June 16th. And leave the discussion public hearing open.
We learned that one earlier, thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries, so this item will be tabled. There is no need for an executive session this evening, so the time now is 6:28 p.m., and we will call this meeting adjourned. And I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. We're very proud to have you here, and we look forward to a great celebration. And I want to thank our staff for all that you do for us each and every day to make our city work as well as it does. So we're very proud of you, our staff. Any other comments, questions? If not, this meeting's adjourned at 6:28 p.m.